Hey, good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. Apologies for the long delay here. Little technical difficulties on our end. Welcome to this MBA session. My name is Tim Reardon. I'm the Executive Director here at the Steer Center for Global Real Assets. And I'm joined by Amelia Tanner, who is our Director of Student Experience. And I believe George Jonas, who acts as an advisor to the Steer Center, is on as well and is able to will be able to answer any questions that folks may have. So we're going to jump right into it. I think we're going to start sharing our screen here, and then we can just open it up to any questions that folks may have about Georgetown, about McDonough Business School, and specifically about the Steer Center and the real estate program here, specifically geared towards MBA students. So for I guess stepping back, the Steer Center is, and for all intents and purposes, the real estate program here at Georgetown, undergraduate, MBA level programming, and we have a one-year master's program as well. So all encompassing, that's curriculum, co-curriculum, our events, job placement, community outreach, et cetera. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to turn it quickly over to Amelia, and then we'll go from there.
Hi all, good afternoon. My name is Amelia Tanner, as Tim Reardon said, and I'm the Director of Student Experience. So that means everything that's outside of the classroom related to the Steer Center is under my umbrella. So we do things such as coffee chats, modeling sessions, bringing guest speakers. We have networking events, career fairs, so on and so forth to make sure that you are well-rounded as a student, not only in the classroom, but also outside of it.
Great. Thanks, Amelia. And George, are you on? If you could do a quick intro as well. George might be on mute or having trouble dialing like we did. So anyway, so here at Georgetown, if you want to scroll maybe to the next slide, Amelia, we'll go through this. So the director of the Steer Center is Matt Seifer, who you can see here. So Matt's been at Georgetown at the Steer Center for about 14 years. He is also the academic director. He teaches a number of courses here at Georgetown. As you can see, my name is Tim Reardon. I'm the executive director. So I spent 19 years in the commercial real estate business before joining Georgetown about 18 months ago. So I handle all the administrative functions of the center, whether it's working with our alumni association, our advisory board, working with career services, working with advancement, working with Amelia on the student experience piece of it, et cetera. So we touch a lot of different functions. And then this slide shows some of our kind of adjunct and full-time professors that teach here at the school. Why McDonough and Steers, student-centric, values-based organization here. We really pride ourselves on experiential education. We always like to say that we care more about the student than any other program in the country, and I really do believe that, truly believe that. Experiencing that the last 18 months, we really care about the students. We want them to be successful, et cetera. We also like to play up our DC location, which I think in one of the following slides we'll mention that. We really, Washington DC is a gateway market. Everybody comes through DC, so we always have great speakers coming through here. It's obviously a major, like I said, gateway market, not only in terms of what's going on in the world of politics, but also on the investment front. Everybody needs exposure to Washington, and we really find that that's really truly a great part of this program here. And we get to see, Amelia will touch on this in a little bit about some of the speakers that we get to come to campus, et cetera. So we can keep going. Oh, George is muted. Again, kind of rushing through here, just touching on a couple of these bullet points. Probably the biggest piece, and obviously for folks that are thinking of attending school, et cetera, what the student outcomes, the job placement is our primary focus here. Here's a small sample of firms who recruit our students of, Cohen and Steers, Invesco, MetLife, Eastdil, there's Tishman Speyer, True America, Cushman and Wakefield on the brokerage side. Obviously, Blackstone. We've sent a number of our students to work at Blackstone. Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, JBG Smith here locally in Bethesda is a big public REIT, etc. Again, student-centric, value-based approach here. Like we said, we really care for our students, I think more so than any other program out there. Keep going. Again, hopefully you guys have looked at our website and, on the admissions site on the academic education piece of it. It's the 4-quadrant model here with private debt, private equity, public debt, and public equity. So we offer, I think it's 7.5 credits. I think there's 10 or 11 electives that MBA students, if you choose this real estate concentration that students can choose from, and they're all amazing. It's real estate, private equity. Like I said, there's a real estate entrepreneurship class taught by one of our adjunct professors, John Wilkinson, who founded a very successful small private equity firm here locally in Bethesda, Maryland. There's a real estate clinic on the multifamily side and the commercial side. We have a real estate development class that's an intensive learning experience. That's a week-long class that's taught by one of our advisory board members. And like I said, this real estate entrepreneurship class is just a super popular class these days. Some of the experiential education. I don't know if George can get off mute or not. Let's see. I know he's had a lot of experience in this
Hey,
program in
can
the
you hear
past.
me?
George, you there?
Yeah, thanks for unmuting me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Great.
Do you want me to comment on this slide?
Yeah, George. Yeah, if you don't mind, that'd be great. Thank you.
First, let me ask you, because I've been out for a number of months, but how aggressive are we moving SaaS these days?
Not that aggressive, but to the extent what we've done in the past, I think it'd be helpful if we do
Yeah.
pick this up going forward.
Well, this was something that came out of COVID. We had a number of our MBA graduates when COVID hit in 20 that had their jobs either rescinded or postponed or whatever. And Bob Steers and Matt got together and said, we need to do something for these graduates because we had no idea then how long that thing would last. But rather than them being without any work or anything during that interim period, we said, let's start this Steers Advisory Service. So we went to the alumni and said, what real projects do you have that our students can work on that are not just academic based, but are really issues that you're facing as a company. So we, I think, paid nominal amounts, like $1,500 for the students to engage in 5- and 6-person teams. That was MBAs and undergrads. And really, since that time, we've done over 40 projects with this, you can see over 120 students that have been engaged since COVID, May of 20. And these projects, I'm not sure if we have the examples next, but on the next slide, yeah, here you can see when this was initiated, the whole ESG thing had just come on, and it was really a very big thing. And a lot of the smaller REITs in particular had no clue about how they were going to try to gear or deal with what were going to be all these requirements for reporting. So you'll see a lot of these plans, a lot of these projects, the scoring utilization, how you deal with scope 3 were designed to help these smaller REITs. But also, if you look down like number 8 and some other areas, we did a lot of straight up real estate analysis, hold, sell, et cetera. And I'll be honest that I think this is as important as anything you'll get at Georgetown. Having coached a lot of these teams, it's amazing to me how smart our students can be. And sometimes I forget how inexperienced they can be. And there's real-time feedback after you've met with the alumni, how to work in project teams. So I can't say enough about Steers' experiential platform in general as a very, very important part of what steers have to offer. So
Great.
thank you,
Yeah.
Tim.
Thank you, George. Again, just touching base on, kind of the experiential education piece of it. Student experiences, we've got global career treks. We send our MBA students to New York and to London and to Puerto Rico, I guess, as well. We have case competitions. We're sending 6 MBA students tomorrow down to the University of Texas at Austin for their case competition. We also have an internal case competition. MBA students are eligible to go to University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and a handful of others. We do a number of site tours. We have guest speakers, events. Anything else I'm missing, Amelia, on the student experience?
Yeah, I think one of the things we try to establish is cross-cohort collaboration as well. And so making sure as an MBA, you not only have exposure to students within your program, but also those at the master's level and those at the undergraduate level to just really focus on holistic learning in different ways. And so making sure you get fully well-rounded experiences in not only hands-on learning, but also chances to ask questions and learn from your peers.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say, a new event we did this past October, end of October, we did a collaboration with MIT's real estate program here on campus, on our Capitol campus here in downtown Washington. It was a day-long event. We had 5 panelists, very data center, kind of infrastructure, real asset heavy discussions. We had 120 students, and again, open to the public and open to all the cohorts. So we had undergrad, MBA, and our master's students, and it was a great day. And a bunch of the MIT students came down. They got to network and meet our alumni and meet our students. So again, something that I don't think other schools really do, this cross collaboration with other real estate programs, and we hope to continue that into the future. Sort of student leadership for the Graduate Real Estate Society. Do you want to touch base on what that is? And
Absolutely. So at every level, we have leadership, so undergraduate, graduate, and master's level. And as leadership, you have the opportunity to not only impact your experience, but also those of your peers. And so this is a foundation in society that's led by you, and it's elected by your cohort. And so you get to run things like modeling classes. You get to really structure your education in ways outside of the classroom that is beneficial to you and your cohort. So there's different ways you can do that right now as we transition leadership. They're really looking towards doing more modeling and bringing in more guest speakers. We've had people in the past take more career treks. It's kind of shaped to the way that you want to get the most out of your learning experience. As you can see, there's several different positions there. So if you want to be a VP of alumni, you have the chance to work on alumni relations and be able to bring them in to speak. Working in places like social, you can help increase social media outreach and bring in new followers and the rest of that for not only your society, but also this Steer Center as a whole to promote what you are doing. And this we found is a great way to not only get your feet wet for leadership, but also is fantastic on a resume.
great. Thanks, Amelia. And I will say they also, going back to kind of some of the career tracks, we do a DC, a career day for the MBAs. That's coming up. Is that December 5th? So that's here locally in Washington, DC. Well, where the MBA students will go and meet 4 or 5 different local companies, kind of learn about what they do, et cetera. And they also do a development day here where they get 2 alumni to come in and speak on the real estate development process. And then we go out and tour a couple of properties. This year we toured an affordable housing property out here locally, and then a high-rise building again local here was under construction or is under construction. And again, here, Amelia touched on some of the things that they do throughout the year. Keep going. ESG stuff. Keep going. Again, we always like to play up our Washington, D.C. location. We think that's super important, obviously. Okay. London Career Trek. Yep, we sent a bunch of students in May to meet with our alumni base over in London. Super fun and successful trips that they have. And again, here's some, financial support. We do have scholarship money available to our students. First bullet point, we have 3 dedicated MBA scholarship funds for the purpose of providing money to qualified candidates. And we also have something called the Poland Fellows, which we just awarded, I think, 6 new Poland Fellows. And again, those are $10,000 scholarships awarded to second-year MBA students. Career enhancement stuff. So we work in close conjunction with our career services team. They have a dedicated career services team for MBA students here on campus within the McDonough School of Business. And we've also partnered with an outside firm called Jackson Lucas, which is an executive search firm specifically focused on the real estate sector. So super successful partnership with those guys that students can take advantage of throughout the year.
And that looks like weekly office hours online through Zoom, and then also bringing in specialized representatives from different companies to speak to about what opportunities they have for our students.
Yeah, and they've helped us host 2 on-campus career fairs, which have been super successful. Again, I think we touched on 7.5 credits, a bunch of electives, the different coursework, et cetera, and you can grab more of this stuff on our website. I know we rushed through a lot of this stuff, and again, apologies for being 15 minutes late to this, but we will open it up to any questions unless, Amelia, I missed anything.
Oh, I think we're set there. We'll turn on the function to allow you to ask questions. You can put them in the chat, or you can go ahead and unmute yourself. This is our information here if you want to reach out and contact us.
Yeah.
Other than that, I will stop sharing, and feel free to ask us what you're curious about.
And George, maybe before anybody asks a question, anything else you'd like to add or that we missed?
No, I think you did a good job, great job. I think the one thing everybody should know is you talked about being student centric, and we really look at this as a relationship for life. So you'll have a very strong engagement, of course, during your academic tenure, but then when you become an alumni, that begins a whole new chapter in your engagement with STEER. So I think what you said, Tim, about us really being very student centric really is designed to have a lifetime relationship with folks that come into STEERS.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. And like I said, I've been here for 18 months and gotten to know a lot of our alumni, and they really, really care deeply about this program, about Georgetown, and about the real estate program, the STEER Center. So great network in New York and Washington, D.C., London, Boston, Chicago, et cetera. So kind of really all over the country and all over the world. And I think that's, super important and really neat.
The only other thing I would add is just in general, what we talk about, you talked about the values of the university and STEERS. And I know you all worked and Matt put out like a performance standards. And a lot of times people will see values and principles on paper and that's all they are. But I need to tell everyone that it's really very serious. It's a robust program. The expectation will be that you will, do the work, you'll show up. These folks, Amelia, Tim, Matt, they'll take their shirts off their back to help you, but you need to be engaged. Coming to class not prepared, coming late, it's really not something tolerated. And we may not be for everybody because it is expectation that we expect a very professional attitude on the part of our students. And sometimes it's not all, folks don't take those values as seriously as they should, but I would tell you they're very serious with the leadership team, there at STEERS, whatever that's worth.
Great. Thanks, George. All right. Questions, anybody? Do you want to put up our contact info again?
Yeah.
All right, Amelia's going to put up our contact info again real quick if you guys want to jot that down. Certainly feel free to reach out. Oh, there we go. We got one. Perfect.
Yeah, if you just want to come off mute here.
Hi, this is Naaman Jackson. Yeah, had sent a question in the chat, so I guess maybe you guys
Okay.
didn't.
Sorry,
So-
technical
good.
difficulty.
Yeah,
All good.
amateur hour here for us.
All
What's
good.
it?
All good. But yeah, I appreciate you guys, taking the time to talk about the program, and the offerings that you guys have. A couple slides ago, well, I guess probably like maybe 10 slides ago, you had a slide that showed that you work with organizations like PRIA, so Twigo's real estate arm. That's something that I'm definitely interested in joining. So I'm kind of curious as to what that kind of partnership looks like with you guys, because I think on the slide, as briefly as I saw it, it looked like you guys have, I guess PRIA has some involvement with the DC area. So I was just kind of curious if you could speak to that.
Yeah, for sure. Amelia, you want to touch base on that? So yeah, obviously they're a trade association, private real estate, or I don't even know what PRIA stands for, but yeah, we do have connectivity with all of these organizations, to the extent that we send, and so ULI, we had a million, not a million, but board members and alumni that are actively involved in ULI, in the MBA's Mortgage Bankers Association, PRIA. I know they have a grant program, which I think some of our female students have just applied to. It's like a $10,000 grant for programming and stuff like, does that kind of grow the real estate program?
Yeah, so one of the things that we really like to emphasize here is because of our great location, we want to make sure that we're involved in the community, not only here locally, but also nationally. And so we do that in different ways with partnerships like PRIA. I think we have a 2027 event coming up on the radar, as well as a grant that we allow we have students apply for through their organizations, which help us there. But we want to make sure that you're involved in any way that you seem fit and want to be involved with local organizations. So if you're finding that you want to be involved with PRIA and you see a way that that could work well, we'd love to help and assist in any way possible.
Hopefully, does that answer your question, Damon?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, it sounds like you guys are really, you kind of working hand in hand with PRIA, with those kind
Yeah,
of.
and PRIA, I think they're based out of Hartford, so they're not local to DC, but to the extent, we know all the local DC, real estate trade associations. Like I said, ULI, MBA, ULI has a DC chapter, American Bankers Association, home builders, et cetera. So we've got good connectivity with all those organizations. And again, it's up to, the students are like, hey, I'm really interested in this part of real estate, or I'm interested in that part of real estate. Hey, can you make something happen? Can we have a speaker event? Can somebody come on campus, et cetera? So that's Amelia's kind of number one focus, is to make sure the students are getting the experience that they want and they need, and what their interests are, and trying to put those two together.
And I think that we've found year to year, it varies a little bit of what cohorts are interested in. So every year looks a little bit different, but we keep the same core components of making sure that what you're excited about and what you're engaged with continues to show up in programming, to earlier points of guest speaking and career fairs and so on and so forth, making sure that it shows up and you're able to be engaged in that way. And to George's earlier point about alumni, we have such a wide variety of alumni and so many who are willing to give back to the program, that if you're finding yourself excited or interested somewhere, we probably have an alum who's willing to help in some way.
Yeah, and I would say, yeah, going back to the cohorts change, the different interests. This year, a lot of our first year MBA students are very interested in the affordable housing space. So we're trying to get some programming geared towards that and around that. We had a nice tour and an office visit with Standard Communities, which is a big national affordable housing developer. We spent 3 or 4 hours at their office learning about their business. So, again, next year could be they're interested in data centers, but this year it seems to be they're really focused on affordable housing, which is great.
Awesome, thank you. And I
Sure.
realize that PRIA is based in Hartford. I'm actually up here in Hartford County.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Hartford, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Great.
Any other questions we can answer?
All right, well, hearing none, well, thank you, everybody. And again, apologies for the technical difficulties. And again, feel free to reach out, day or night. Amelia and I are here at your disposal. So again, thank you. And again, George, thanks for dialing in as well.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks,
all.
everybody.